So personality cult is when you put someone on a pedestal and that person, it becomes a god human. It's not a human being, it's a god human. And we can see that with Stalin, for example. My grandma, when I asked her what do you think about Stalin, she still has a picture of him in her house. I asked her what do you think about Stalin, and she said he's an angel. When Stalin was a leader, there was no crime, no homeless people, no issues. I want to talk about personality cult in the perspective of also confidence and how in society we tend to put people on a pedestal. That's a dynamic that's been existing since the ages, because we had kings, queens, tsars, sultans. When you have a figure that is the face of a country, you already put that person on a pedestal, right? That's not a human, that's a superhuman, that's a god human. Whatever he says is a law, whatever he says is going to be done. And by studying the extreme of an idea, we can understand the nature of it whole. So in the smaller proportions of how we put people on a pedestal, not in an extreme case like with Stalin, is with celebrities, right? We tend to put celebrities on a pedestal, and when we meet them in person, we realize it's a regular as human being. Obviously, it's due to the media being more isolated now. With social media, we're becoming more connected, more authentic, and we realize that celebrities is just regular human being like everyone else. And that's what Bobby Out of Podcast is successfully doing in showing us, and that's why it's very viral now, since that's what's been lacking in the media, showing that celebrities is also regular as human beings just like everyone else. It's just people that decide to get into acting or into music, and that's the areas in the job industries that have exposure to the world, right? So it's just they just happen to become famous, you could say. So that doesn't make them superhuman beings. It's regular as people just like everyone else. How does dictatorship work, and why putting yourself on a pedestal is successful in brainwashing people? It's easier for us to idealize someone and to say, oh, they're ideal, and that's why their life is easy, and that's why they are superhuman. But then we realize that they also face issues like, oh my god, I have to take a shit, oh my god, I have to how to not act awkward around people. You think celebrities don't go through this stuff? They go through the exactly same stuff. Exactly same. Every single person on the planet goes through more or less exactly same stuff. So that is why putting someone on a pedestal in Soviet Union was very successful, and is still done by the current leaders in many countries that have dictatorship dynamics in the politics. Because, like, let's take North Korea, right? And Soviet Union. Like, what did Stalin do? He put everywhere he put his statues. Every city had to have his statue. The streets were named after Stalin. The streets were named after Lenin. Lenin's body, you can still visit Lenin's body in Moscow. That's not a human, that's a superhuman, right? They still cherish him, and they're like, wow, he was this person that saved us. He was not like everyone else, which probably, of course, these people were smarter in certain ways, they were more advanced in certain skills, but they're still regular human beings just like everyone else. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's why the propaganda works successfully when you put someone on a pedestal. With Stalin, everywhere there had to be his statues. When Stalin spoke, everyone, the whole nation had to listen to his speech. And he had an accent when he spoke Russian. He had a Georgian accent when he spoke Russian, and still he was able to become a successful leader, let's say, right? That was able to like brainwash all these people into believing that he is the greatest. What else Stalin did? So you can see now, I asked my grandma, she still has his picture in the house, and she's like, he was an angel. Everything was perfect when Stalin was a ruler. That's a perfect example of when you put someone above you. You put someone above you, you idealize a certain figure, and that way your life is easier. It's easier for our brains, for some reason, to idealize our hero, because that gives us faith, right? That we can become the same. But there is no final destination to the ideal. There is no perfection. So it basically becomes a fight, or an infinite fight to get to that ideal when we see that ideal persona in front of us. But that's why they say never meet your heroes. You meet your hero, you realize it's a regular ass person, and that your image of ideal just breaks. And you're confused, and you're like, wow, like my faith just broke with that, with the image of my ideal person breaking. My faith also broke, because that's what I was trying to be. That's who I was looking up to. My whole world just crashed. And now, still leaders like in Tajikistan, you can see there is also statues of their leader everywhere. They listen to his speech every morning. You know, it's things like that they circle everything around one individual. Because when you circle everything around one individual and you make everyone believe that that person is a god, it's a human, superhuman being, you don't question that person. You don't question what he says. You don't question his actions. You just blindly believe that it is the right thing to do because he is the god. He is our superhuman. Another example of that, but within a business structure psychology, back home in the East, there is basically two types, right? Your boss is either your friend or your boss is God. So back home, your boss is God. You can't question his actions. You cannot yell at him. You can't talk to him. You can't hang out with him like with a friend. Here, you have community building. You talk to everyone with understanding, empathy. You listen, active listening. Your boss is almost like your friend. Like Elon Musk says hi to everyone when he walks around his company, and like he talks to his employees. Back home, boss doesn't talk to employees like that. They don't have time for them. They're gonna yell at their ass. They're gonna say, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you fucking standing? Go work, bitch." Like literally, like human, rights law, they don't have these regulations yet. And that's when I started believing in religion. They say that religion initially was kind of created, or God was created in the idea of God. And don't take me wrong, I believe in a higher power. I believe there is something like almost like supernatural, right? But from the psychological perspective, if we look at that, if I tell you right now, hey, don't smoke, don't drink, don't swear, that's bad. You can do that. That's not the right way to live. You're gonna tell me, who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? But if a third person says that to you, who does not have like an ego, because when someone tells us what to do, we get defensive, right? We're like, bitch, who are you? Who are you to tell me what to do? Huh? Fuck off, leave my house, okay, bye. But if there is a superhuman, a godlike individual, persona that tells you, hey, I'm a superhuman, I'm God, and I'm telling you that that's the way you have to live your life. You're gonna listen to it. You're gonna listen to them. Because you don't get defensive. That's a third person. That's a higher human being. That's not a human on your level, right? That's someone above you. So I noticed this dynamic in society. We tend to put people above us. But with social media, the world becoming is more connected and global, and we're realizing that everyone is a regular human being. Everyone is regular as persons. And even if someone is in a higher position, doesn't make them better or superhuman. They are the same human as us, who go through the same issues every day. They wake up, take a shit, they think what the fuck they gotta eat for breakfast, and then they have issues and then they go through like being socially awkward. They go through that too, and they go through issues like how to express myself. They go through issues like how to do this and that, just like every other human being. And I believe that it's very absurd in general, even if it's democracy, to put one individual as the face of the country and to put the responsibility of the whole nation on one individual. Of course, I understand there is parliament and it's a group of people that makes a choice, and in a democracy, in a true democracy, a president can just like say, oh, we're gonna do this, fuck it, you know, I don't fucking care. Like, with that, I just don't believe in putting one person behind the whole nation. I feel like it should be like a group of people that we vote for. But it's somewhere in a parallel universe. I don't think we're anywhere near close that, and I feel like it's just a simpler and the traditional way that we're used to, psychologically and organizationally, to put one as a president of one big nation. How I broke from Russian propaganda is, I remember when I was 11, 12, 13, 14, everywhere in the nation there was this saying that Putin saved our country. Putin saved us, he saved us. It's a personality cult. It's a personality cult, because that way is successfully you can brainwash big amount of people, okay? Stalin did exactly the same thing. You just don't question any of his moves, because, well, he's Putin, well, he's Stalin, well, he's right, and you just blindly kind of follow the rules, and if someone says something wrong, you're punished. But then you grow up and you realize, right, people that have head over their shoulders, they realize, especially now, I don't know about before, right, where media was very isolated and not accessible, but now I see like people grow up and they realize, those who have, you know, a brain more or less and head over their shoulders and can think for themselves, they realize that it's all propaganda. Now we see the leaders, they think that the people are not getting smarter, and they use the same propaganda tactics, manipulation, media tricks that are so cheap and outdated now. You just look at this and you're like, really? Couldn't find a more creative way to create propaganda? Like, this is just so obvious, you know, because people, they get smart, they get smart and they start to understand. So by studying that, what can it tell us about human nature is that we, even in small settings, tend to put others on a pedestal and idealize them, which makes us change our behavior to try to please them. But in reality, you get to know them and you realize they just have this mask that they're trying to seem cool, and they're trying to put themselves on a pedestal above others so that people treat them like they are below them. By releasing yourself from the fact that someone is ideal, someone is perfect, that someone is above you, putting people on a pedestal, when you stop doing that and when you stop putting yourself on a pedestal, I feel like that's when you become truly free from judgment and truly build this inner confidence that no one can tell me shit, because who are these people? They are no one. They are regular ass people, just like everyone else, just like me. Even if they're a celebrity, even if they're in a higher position, it doesn't make them more or less of a person like you than you. You know what I'm trying to say? So once I realized that everyone is no one, why would I care about no one's opinion then? So that's the message that I was trying to convey today. I hope this video was clear. I hope my message was clear, and I hope you guys like this episode. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Ciao, cacao.